Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Homegrown Nerds Podcast.
I'd say it's been quite a while.
For us.
Yeah.
We haven't done this in months.
We've just been busy with so many other things that we just never got a chance to get around to it. But here we are.
Yep. Hectic lives of adults. They just sort of keep us going.
It sucks.
It does suck. It's the reason why I wanted to start back up. In any case, welcome back to my abode.
And welcome back to the internet.
I never leave the internet.
No one does.
All right. So, just to get us started, today we are going to be talking about D&D.
The Dungeons of Dragons.
The D. The big D. And
Yes.
the bigger D.
So, what about D&D? You a fan of it?
I'm in love.
Darn right you are.
It is I had never played it before this year, but I think, well, give a little backstory here. I had been trying to get into D&D for a while. I'd always enjoyed watching people either play D&D online or listening to like stories of people playing D&D at the table. And it had started to become a popular trend, D&D done online, streaming-wise, and otherwise. And so I was able to see a couple different people play D&D.
What was your first stream, or which one you watched first?
Jared was who I watched first. He did stories of D&D for a little bit. He does a thing called D&D December where he just kind of got into D&D a little bit. And then I bounced off of that into... he is on another internet streaming one that streams, I think it's like every Tuesday, which is Dice Camera Action, which is one of the official D&D streams, led by the amazing Chris Perkins. And then that jumped me off to Critical Role, which I really fell in love with Matt Mercer's style of running a game. And I am nowhere near his ability level, but essentially I fell in love with the game online, watching people enjoy playing at the table and interact with each other and just play off of each other. The amount of role playing as well as battle tactics that went into it really appealed to my kind of nerdiness. I grew up with real-time strategy. I also really like fantasy, specifically high fantasy. Just the Lord of the Rings has always been a favorite of my series. I've also always there's a lot of different books that I've read. The Inheritance series, which is Aragon, which is a guy who becomes a dragon rider. Big on fantasy. I love fantasy. So a specific game into where I could input myself into a fantasy or build a fantasy really appealed to me. But it's kind of hard, especially in a small town.
Such as where we live.
To get together a group of people that want to play D&D. Which it actually probably isn't too hard, considering we got a gaming store in town.
It's still,
It's still a little difficult, and I'm shy and not very
extroverted.
Extroverted. I very much live the hermit lifestyle.
Yeah, that's about me over here too.
Yeah. Anyway, about close to this time last year. What was it? When did we go? I can't remember, but we went on a trip to me and you to Mount Rushmore.
It was October month.
And when you're driving for a long time, don't have much to do but talk.
Yeah.
You can listen to podcasts, or listen to audiobooks, both of which are recommended.
Oh, yes.
And you introduced me to Drunks and Dragons, another D&D podcast.
Yep, they're pretty, what's the word? Not proficient, but they're more prominent on Spotify, which we're not endorsing them or promoting them. We're just saying they're on Spotify.
Yeah.
And that was actually my first actual D&D I actually listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I believe mine was the mainstream Critical Role.
Yep. Which Critical Role is kind of one of the primary ones for a lot of people, just in popularity and stuff. And if you don't know what Critical Role is, it's a...
Just type it in the search engine. You'll find it immediately.
You'll find it. A bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors getting together to play D&D. My desire to somewhat be a little bit of a voice actor kind of plays into that too. And then I'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you had expressed desire to play D&D. I had also expressed desire to play D&D, and I was like, well, let's figure out how to run a game. You got some people together that you knew, and I decided to go ahead and run the game. To
just get started at least.
See if I would be a good DM. See if I could be a proficient game master to lead you all through an adventure. And 1 year later, we're still going every other Sunday. That's mostly due to my scheduling.
Yeah, but it's not much we can do about that.
No, there's not much we can do about that. But it's still good fun.
Mm-hmm.
Months later, and I could see this going for a long, long time.
Many years to come, if we're even around.
Yes. Some people may come, some people may go.
We may have fights in the middle. We may make up.
Mm-hmm.
So far, we've only had like one fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tensions are high when either in the midst of battle and you've got... What are we up to now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people around the table at once?
Yeah, for many D&D groups, that's pretty dang large.
That's a pretty high group. And it's hard to wrangle them all. And some personalities are bigger than others, and you just try and do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are just going to be like that.
They're going to be those people that like to run into battle with their head up their butt and you're just gonna be like, "This is happening,"
Why are you like this?
which is a struggle for me sometimes. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you, Ace here, of course, great DM. Me, however, have some of the worst luck.
Oh.
I may not be Will Wheaton bad, but I have some pretty low rolls.
You're darn near close.
I am probably somehow related to Will Wheaton, I swear.
You break math.
I break the odds and probability, and I put that into account. But just for reference, the last session we did, we were going straight into battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, we all finally rolled initiative. As soon as I rolled, I was immediately like, well, this is going to be another one because I rolled a 3.
Yeah.
The only person who beat me was our rogue friend Theobald.
Ranger.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Ranger.
He's a ranger.
I forget. Sorry.
Kenku Ranger.
But even then, just before it was getting close to my turn, one of the mages decided to throw a fireball. I rolled okay on that. But then a thunderbolt, or lightning bolt.
Yep. Then a lightning bolt from the second mage decided to tear through, and
I rolled a 7.
and the NPC Clark and Felrin both went down.
Yeah. Clark is the... If you want to reveal some stuff about Clark.
Clark was a bugbear that they had met in a previous cavern. He was one of the generals in a group of goblins called the Cragmaw Goblins. And he sort of reigned over a group of them, a raiding party, that on their second session they took care of and left him alive. Killed his wolf companion and left him alive.
And many regrets were after that, because we'll tell you in a little bit.
Yeah. They proceeded to continue on with their journey and met up with him later in the final cave. The final cavern of this adventure. This portion of the adventure. And the rogue
was being rogue,
decided to run in and attack a table of bugbears. Little did they know,
the first person that they hit
was Clark. And they hit him hard.
Was it like a natural 20 or something?
It was rough, whatever it was. I remember calculating the damage like, Clark, you gonna live? Maybe. Got over and it was just staring at all the damage because stabbed him in the back with a rapier, ran over to the side with sneak attack damage, ran over to the side and threw a dagger and hit him. So he got a rapier in the back, fell off, and then got stabbed, went to the ground, and he just let out a, Clark doesn't feel so good.
And then our rogue was like, oh shit, it's Clark!
Yeah, it was very, it was a very memorable moment. It's one of those moments that really...
It tickled our giblets.
Yeah, has lasted for a long time. And so...
I think after that moment, he stuck with us.
Yeah.
It was that moment?
Yep. he stuck with you after that moment.
Yeah, and now he has like some sort of healing powers of some sort, which I have no idea what that's about.
Yes.
But the other character...
Clark.
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 But the other character got hit by...
He's come to give you a crisp high five.
Oh, I forgot about that. His signature is the crisp high five. He will hold it up in the air until he gets one.
I am so happy he was taught that. That was great. That was one of T's better moments of just walking up to Clark and just going, raising his hand, her hand, I guess. He's playing a her. Raising Veronica's hand, and Clark's initial confusion as to what's going on slowly developed into... He now greets everyone with a crisp high five.
I can't wait till he sees like a lord or a king or something and wants a high five. I cannot wait for that moment.
Yes. So anyway, Clark went down, and in the fireball, Liz went down, and so did Felrin. Liz was an NPC they had met in this...
temple, cathedral place.
Monastery,
that's the word.
And
that's full of like basing it off of the Greek gods for now.
Yeah.
Nyx, who's the goddess of the dark stuff. For what?
Goddess of chaos.
Goddess of chaos, that's the word.
Yeah. Though this is not necessarily originally her domain.
Nonetheless, that's what the players think, and I myself am a player.
Mm-hmm. I digress. I don't know what else to say about just... I can speak a lot on D&D and just how much it has brought friends together. I hang out with Jeff on a regular basis. He's great. I've started hanging out with you more on a regular basis.
Which is always the delight.
The D&D helped us keep a regulated schedule of hanging out, even though it was in a social setting.
Mm-hmm. You still kept that connection.
Yes, it still kept that connection so that we could get back together to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I've met and enjoyed playing with T, M, other M, C... All of those, they're all fantastic.
I think we can call them by their character names.
Probably.
For now, at least.
Yeah. And just the social aspect of a game like that, which is blowing me away in that it's rising in popularity, especially since 5th edition came out.
Because 5th edition made it so much more easy.
Mm-hmm. It simplified a lot of the rulings, and fourth edition, from what I understand, was very game mechanics based.
It was more for like war game.
Yeah, war gaming. It was very numbers. Yes. There was a lot less role playing, a lot more battle tactics, and making use of the action economy, what you could do, what you couldn't do.
Mm-hmm. Which I believe Drunken and Dragons uses 4th edition, if not 3rd edition. I cannot remember specifically.
I'm not sure if they use 3.5 or 5.
Actually, it might have been 3.5.
It might be 3.5. That's the other popular edition. 5th edition swung it back to more role-playing elements. So bringing back sort of the gameplay aspect and adding role play elements back in, which it's a tabletop role playing game.
Yeah.
Not to say 4th edition is bad. Some people will say 4th edition is bad. I have heard arguments to the contrary, to where even if you don't like 4th edition, there are still stuff in it that you can take and use in 5th edition if you want.
Yeah.
There's certain battle mechanics that I've debated adding in, certain systems that I've debated using. None that I can think off the top of my head right now, but it's still a viable addition to the.
Even with 5th edition, it makes it pretty much easy as pie to introduce old things into it, new things into it.
Yep.
Super customizable.
It's very moldable, and that has become part of the reason it started to gain in popularity, I think. I've seen it blow up quite a bit from what it was, going on 3 years ago.
Was it 3 years?
I don't remember how many years some places have been running, but I'm just saying, like, 3 years ago, I would not have, like, you could go on the internet and you'd maybe find a video on D&D, but ever since Critical Role got started, it started coming back into the mainstream for a lot of people, and a lot of people got started. And maybe it's just my own little corner bubble of stuff, but I started seeing D&D stuff show up at the game store. I started seeing they now have miniatures at the game store in town.
Are they having more in here, in this town?
Yes.
Are they? Oh, that's pretty good.
I love miniatures, and having a game store in town that has miniatures. Yes. I got a nice little frost giant over there. You can't see it from here. I'll show you when we're done.
Okay.
I say little frost giant, but he stands about that big.
He's classified as a huge, isn't he?
Yep. The giant.
Giant? Okay.
Giant.
I don't have the player's handbook with me, so.
It's actually out in my car. Mine is. Because I brought it up to Salina where I play in a game. We didn't actually play this past weekend. We ended up playing a board game. But even then, it was it was a reason to get together socially. It's made for good, consistent, especially in that we've scheduled it. Consistent hangout, and eat, play D&D, and just have a good time. I think.
Though I will say, it's not for everyone per se.
No. Some people might not get into it as much as we did. But I still suggest you try it. And if you don't find a group that works for you, just hold on and don't give up hope if the group was bad.
They even have online chat rooms. I think, like on Reddit. I don't have Reddit, so I can't say.
Yeah, they have plenty of forums on Reddit for D&D and that allow you to get together on Discord and play. That sort of you can find places to hook up online for.
Yeah, there's plenty of options.
And if you can't find a good group, try running a game.
Yeah.
Try finding a group of people that want to play and running a game.
Don't be intimidated. That's one big thing I noticed from DMs that want to start doing stuff.
They're terrified. Get yourself a module. Like, people say, oh, I want to homebrew a campaign. Yeah, And I'm homebrewing a campaign right now, but I started with the module.
Yeah, the question is, do you want to start homebrew? Like, very first session you're going to DM? Or do you want to see how it works out with a regular module?
Yeah.
And
I would suggest a module because everything you need is there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to plan. You don't have to build battle maps. I use a battle map, but you can just use your headspace and just tell them what's going on in the area, and then tell them how far away the enemies are, and they have to then decide. I run up to the nearest enemy. Okay, you have this many feet of movement. You use this many to get there. You tell them. I use battle map with miniatures so that they can actually see what's going on.
Because a lot of us are visual.
Visual players. And sometimes it's rough. I'm not exactly the best artist, and so the battle mats could turn out looking okay.
You don't need to be an artist to do this. I can even tell you that.
Yeah, squares, keep things simple. I kind of went overboard with this most recent monastery. It's 3 layers tall, technically 4.
We haven't even explored all of it yet, and we've had 2 sessions into it.
Yep. And even those sessions have been kind of rushed. You can kind of easily tear through a dungeon with my DMing style. Mm-hmm. There are ways to slow down that travel through the dungeon and actually make it so that you peek around every corner, see what's here, instead of just walking forward like you're the king of the hill.
Yeah, I will say, for what we've been doing, we are rushing through it a little too fast.
You are rushing through it. But that's... To me, that's a role-playing element, in that as well as just new player element. Mm-hmm. I would still consider some of you guys new players.
Yeah. Even if some of us have like huge amounts of knowledge.
Yeah. It's still like new to the game, and even some of the veterans, I've seen stuff like that they don't do things that I feel like a veteran would do, but that also depends on who DM'd them previously.
True.
And my DMing style can allow for certain play styles, and that just allowed them to do what they're doing now, which if I not necessarily change up my DM style, but evolve, and I'll continue to evolve how I run a game. Like, at first I was scared of killing players.
Now you just want to kill everybody.
I'm not that bloodthirsty.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not that bloodthirsty.
Yet.
No. But I'm no longer afraid of throwing heavy challenges at them, as seen by the most recent battle. Mm-hmm. I'll throw a challenge at them, because they need to be challenged. Their party is very powerful. My DMing style allows for a lot of power there. There's 7 of them, an extra NPC, and a wolf companion. That makes for a total of 9 in the party.
I feel like we had another person, but I can't tell you that much.
No. Other than Liz, yeah.
Well, with Liz in it, we'd have 10 technically.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Liz, and then you just found
Thomas the Hune T.
I have his name here.
Is it not Thomas?
Yes, it's Thomas.
Okay.
Thomas Akris. which
Snake Dude.
That'll involve a switch off.
There has been a lot of switch offs, but
Yep.
now that we've been doing it for a long time, currently, I think we've started to become more comfortable with what we're playing.
Yeah. And it's my hope that you guys will settle into a character and not continue to switch off. I think you found a good match with Felrin.
Still hate being a healer, but that's just because of my really shitty luck.
Yeah, and clerics are also fighters too. You can pick up an axe and start swinging.
Just for reference, if you haven't seen Critical Role, you're about to hear some crazy doohickey stuff that's about to happen. Because Pike, the cleric off Critical Role, I swear, if it wasn't for that sweet smile, I would have think she would have been a terror. With the amount of stuff she's able to do as a cleric is ridiculous.
It's impressive. And like I said, clerics are fighters as well as healers. They are healers, yes, but there are also other classes that work well with healers, as seen by Druid Soul. Soul the Druid. She has been designed very well to facilitate healing. That was both on me and me and M's. That was purposeful. She was created to be a healer, and a good one at that. And it's... You want to go shut that door? I think that's... We got the door open to the outside, and it's letting in a bit of extra noise. Even though I'll miss the cloudy skies. I digress. It's...
I think one of the backup characters I had was going to be for healing too, but it didn't work out that way.
No.
I think M has a better setup for a druid healer.
Yes, he does. And he plays well into it. I think, compared to some of the classes he had previously, this one has really meshed well. And I hope to see the character develop pretty well. Developing his skills of making protein shakes. I'm aggressively making protein shakes.
I will say that was pretty clever.
That was great. And then, I don't know, so many good stories that come from playing D&D. We could do an entire session of just stories from the campaign of...
even just from our campaign.
Yeah, stuff that has happened that is hilarious, fun.
Tearjerker
A little bit, yeah.
Tension rise. There's so many descriptive words we can use.
I still love the situation from last week's session of C. I threw the wizard threw the fireball. It bloomed out, catching all of them in its radius. They were that close together. And Liz, the NPC, I say something to one of the characters. I'm like, "You're closest," so you hear a scream and then a thump behind you as something hits the floor. And C just looks out with almost a nearly 1,000-yard stare, just like, I don't like this game anymore. He was so devastated. Glad you guys got Liz up, though. And I just barely missed her with the Thunderbolt. I wasn't sure if I would hit her or not, but
That would have been insta-kill, and we wouldn't have done anything.
Would have been 2 death saves, which coming back to her turn, when she made a death save, she'd have to make it, or she'd have to be gotten up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's... Ugh.
Yeah.
That Thunderbolt is not nice.
Nope. It's a mean MFer. Filbert uses it to great effect.
Mm-hmm.
He also uses Fireball to great effect.
He's kind of addicted to Fireball. Don't lie to me, he's addicted.
That's any wizard that has 3rd level spells.
See, no, with any wizard, they have their own addiction. Some like Lightning Bolt, some like Fireballs, some people like Hold Person. Don't ask.
Filbert is all of those. Filbert Hazelnut is all of those.
Listen, you may know the characters.
Cantrips.
Damn it.
1st level, 2nd level, Fireball, 4th level, 5th level. That's how it goes.
Okay, fine.
That's how it's been explained to me, and that's how I agree.
Oh, boy.
So, like I said, you get used to it, you run a game. Find some people that just want to get into it and be patient. Do your research ahead of time. Do your own research. I can suggest people like Matthew Colville,
Pro
Jared. He has stuff on that. Watch some streams of people playing D&D. Get an idea. And do not take their word as law.
Because what D&D is you can make whatever the heck you want.
If you don't like a ruling that the DM comes up with, if you don't like a thing that Matthew Mercer does, or a thing that Matthew Colville tells you about, if you don't like something Pro Jared talks about, they're both from different generations of playing D&D, and they have different perspectives on playing D&D. And you probably will not find a single DM that has the same play style as another. They all run the game differently.
Even if you try to imitate it, it will change eventually.
Even if you try imitation, eventually you will evolve and you will develop your own thing. And sometimes parties, you need to change, because even if you have your own DM style, you're still feeding off of your players. It's a cooperative storytelling. Contrary to popular belief, it is not the DM versus the players. It is the DM with the players telling a story. And I can throw Fireball and Lightning Bolt and a whole bunch of other spells. There's the possibility of killing you guys. It exists. It's a thing. It's a mechanic in D&D. You're not guaranteed to survive.
And even if you don't survive, take some time to just let that emotion get over if you've been with that character for a while. If you haven't played for long, well.
You might have liked the character, but they did.
Yeah.
Time to move on.
There might even be cases where the DM might give like redemption points or something.
Yeah, it just... And this goes back to different DMs and stuff. Some DMs don't like to kill players. They try their darndest not to. They will fudge all rolls until their players do not die. And some can do it very convincingly. Some can do it so well that the players feel like they're in danger, but eventually they'll catch on to where they know we're invincible. We can do whatever we want, and this DM won't kill us. We can run headfirst into traps. We can do it all, because the DM isn't gonna kill us.
Yeah. It just depends on how you.
It just depends on how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's the danger of not or being afraid of killing a PC.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some where some Dungeon Masters where a game doesn't start without a TPK, total party kill, where their first combat is essentially wipe the floor. Or it's so hard that it's just going in character after character into a cave to do something, and it's just throwing characters at the problem until hopefully one survives long enough to help others survive longer. And
we've had those moments.
Yeah, just throwing characters at a wall, just going, just please survive, one of you. It creates for a good time, but that's also a lot of PC death. And some people grew up in that generation of, if a PC dies, a PC dies. And some people are so connected to their PCs, so connected to their person that they have created that it's dangerous. They can get volatile if their PC is killed.
I haven't seen that on most of the other D&Ds that I listen to.
Yeah.
Which is thankful, but it does happen.
Yeah. Some people can get upset at the DM for killing. It's like, that combat was unfair. I'm sorry, the dice did not roll in your favor. There have been nights where I have not rolled below a 10, and the primary amount of those rolls were above 15. And it was just like, my dice were fire, and you guys were ice. You were melting. And there are times where I can't roll above a 10 to save my life. You guys are going in, and I'm like, okay, this will be a strong battle. This will be tough. We'll see how that goes. And they just wipe the floor because I can't roll above a 10. The dice will make and break you. And I don't necessarily always advocate for it, but I've heard good arguments for it. Fudging dice rolls is a thing behind the DM screen.
It happens.
It exists for a reason.
Mostly for storytelling.
Mostly for storytelling purposes. There are times where I will roll away from the DM screen to prove whether something happened or not. That happened in a most recent one to
Mostly
where
fireballs.
That was that because I wanted to show you guys that the damage was true. The other one was when the principal teleported away, pulled out a scroll of teleport. That when you use a scroll, it requires a roll to see if you successfully cast what is on the scroll. Whips it out. Its teleport is, I believe, a 5th level spell, so you have to roll above a 17 with your spellcasting modifier.
Really?
I'm not sure if it was above 17 with your spellcasting modifier. It was a ridiculously high roll. It's difficult to cast higher level spells with spell scrolls. And so I was like, I can roll this behind the screen and just tell them whatever result it was, whether it failed or whether it succeeded. But if it does succeed, I don't know what they're going to think. Are they going to think that I fudged the die roll to where he escaped? Which is an entire possibility. They could be like, well, you just wanted him to escape, so you fudged the die roll. You guys probably wouldn't have been upset.
Yeah.
But
I'd actually be really disappointed because then we just killed the final boss, technically.
Yeah.
From our knowledge.
Yeah. You would have killed a major player.
Mm-hmm.
But I also didn't want to, I wanted to let the dice decide to where what would happen. Because if he died, he died. It
happens.
It happens. But I wanted to give him the chance, but I also wanted to make it realistic. So I pulled out the dice and I rolled the d20 on the mat in front of them. I said to you guys, this is a scroll of teleport. I'm pretty sure.
No, you didn't, because
I just said, this is a scroll and he's attempting to use it. The DC is 17. Here we go. Boom. Rolled. Beautiful roll. I think I can't remember if I rolled like a 19. I think I rolled a 19.
Was it 19? It wasn't 20.
It wasn't 20.
It was either 18 or 19, yeah.
It was either 18 or 19. But just absolute crushed it. And that's just the way the die rolls. And he gone. Disappeared. Teleport. And for those who don't know, teleport allows the character to move to any plane, to any spot on their plane of existence that they've been with within a month. So if they were a month's travel away, they could teleport to that specific spot.
Yeah, just found out it is a 7th level spell. So it's
7th level spell? Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah. I knew it was high. So that's why, casting it was kind of dangerous to use as a scroll, because if you don't have it, you have to make that roll. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. And if he had missed that roll, the scroll would have gone up in flames and
probably would have died, honestly.
He probably would have died. He had a few other ways to get out of there, and he was running for the other battle. Mm-hmm. So you guys would have ran headfirst into that one. Being ambushed by gargoyles probably wouldn't have been fun.
Yeah, but then we have our good old barbarian dragonborn, whose name is Boone. He wrecked.
He did a good job. Oh, the amount of damage he did in one turn.
Mm-hmm.
That was
nice.
That was quite rough.
That was nice.
Nice. Either way, it made for a good session to roll above the DM screen. But if you don't want to kill players, or you do, 7th level, the DC on that is 18. I just looked it up.
Oh, yeah, we'll remember that next time.
Yeah. Either way, I knew it was above. Let's see. Yeah, I think you might use your spellcasting modifier. I'm not sure on that DC.
I do not know.
My guess is yes.
But either way, it turned out to be a good session. And we had lots of fun.
No, it's an Arcana check, which means you have to roll with your Arcana modifier, not your spellcasting modifier. So if you have proficiency in Arcana, then you are rolling with your spellcasting modifier. But if you don't, it'll only be whatever your intelligence is.
Guess I'm going to go back to school then.
Either way. But like I said, fudging dice rolls is a thing. It works. I have used it.
I'm not surprised. I don't care. It happens.
It happens. There have been times where I'm like, I'm going to kill this dude if I don't. Okay. Make the roll. See that it, in fact, absolutely Shrek'd him. And I've done that for one-shots before. Too. But just see that something's absolutely going to Shrek somebody. And gone, you survive with 1 HP. Or just there's, yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, I've done it before. I'm a lot less scared to kill PCs now, so I don't do it quite as often. If at all in some sessions. Some sessions I don't do it at all, and the dice just roll how they roll. And I think that's the key to fudging dice rolls. I don't see the stigma behind it, mostly because you're the one telling the story. It's your story. And dice are random.
Yeah.
So if you want something to be a random result, then by George, roll that dice.
Just don't do it often. Fudge the dice, I mean.
Fudge the dice. Roll the dice? That's what you were saying. Like, don't roll the dice. Always fudge rolls.
Everyone wants a natural 20.
Natural 20, natural 20, natural 20, natural 20.
Oh, that would hurt.
Alright. We could go on and on.
And we'll probably come back to this at another episode, too.
Yep. I can talk.
Pretty much guarantee.
Yeah. I could talk at length on this subject.
And that's just you. I have a whole bunch more over here, too.
Yes. Sorry, I was a chatty Cathy.
Yeah, we just started. We got plenty of time.
Either way. Well, we're approaching an hour. So we'll go ahead and cut it off here.
Yeah, we'll probably be doing this probably soon, because now that we have a schedule.
Yeah, we'll try and keep it fairly regular. Found scheduling things helps.
Yeah.
Because it keeps things consistent. It's what's made us be able to do D&D for a year. We didn't have to worry about consistently saying, okay, you guys free this day? Are you guys free this day? Are you guys free this day? It's Sunday nights, every other week, D&D. And people attempt to, sometimes scheduling issues happen.
Yeah.
The family will schedule something and be like, that's D&D night, but I have to go. And I get that.
Yeah, it happens.
But having a scheduled night saying, boom, Sunday nights, D&D. That's the night we play. And that has worked so well because everybody shows up. Everybody knows my house, either 7, 7:30, 8, 8:30, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere in the evening.
Somewhere in the evening, we'll get together. We'll spend half an hour shooting the shit and eating a little bit, and then
Bada bing, bada boom.
bada boom. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome
To get your ass kicked.
to the table. That's how I always start my D&D games. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us.
Hope you enjoyed our delightful voices.
Our stream of consciousness, and have a good day. Bye.